Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here, and back with another episode Cardano Crack, our regular Cardano live stream on a Wednesday night. Joined as usual by Paddy and special guest to take us down the rabbit hole of NFTs today, Cardano Thor, and both the guys' channels are down in the description as well, so make sure you check them out too. Paddy,
all right, Paul, how are you doing? Yeah, thanks very much. Another week, different topic for us. I don't think we've went near the NFT scene. So I'm really looking forward to this. It should be an interesting chat, especially for me. I am not the biggest. I'm not fully down the rabbit hole on NFTs. I'm afraid one day it's going to happen and it's going to be like, right, your wallet's empty and you're full of NFTs now. And I take sneak peeks and I look at stuff and I go, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm more on the artsy side, more rather than the collection. But we'll go into it. We'll get into it later. Thor, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Thor, you're just on mute.
Classic.
Good start to the stream.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm also excited about this conversation because it can go in so many different ways. NFTs, it's such a big topic, right? And I'm like you, Paddy, I'm actually a little bit more on the art side of things. So we might have something in common, and I hopefully can help you see the light a little bit more.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Nice one. Yeah, I get lots of requests to look at certain NFT projects and to share out things about projects. And I'm always a little bit wary because I know a bit of went part of the way down the rabbit hole, but I have a lot to learn on it. So hopefully, like everyone watching, they'll be able to learn as we learn here tonight as well. Anyone coming in, just let us know the audio stream, picture, everything's coming through okay. And do share it out if you think others can benefit. The more people we bring in, the more questions we get, and hopefully the more value and entertainment people can get out of this as well. Anyone in so far, just let us know where you're dialing in from. And Thor, as an introduction, since you're the guest here today, who are you, or why get into Cardano so deep?
Yeah, good question. I'll try to keep it brief. I usually fail, but I'll do my best. So I'm Thor, Cardano Thor, originally from Iceland, born and raised in Iceland, but now live in the US with my family. Been here for about 12 years. And I started investing in ADA, in Cardano, in early 2021. And I went down that rabbit hole pretty deep, and I was obviously, for obvious reasons that we can all relate to, I was fascinated with Charles, the whiteboard video, and I was just really, I quickly sold all my Ethereum and Bitcoin and became a Cardano maxi. Was very excited about Cardano. So a few months passed, and then in August of that year, 2021, I discovered NFTs, and I started hearing about it. I'd heard of NFTs, especially on Ethereum, and then I was like, I realized that Cardano also had NFTs, and then it didn't take me long to really get it, because I've been collecting Pokemon and NBA cards, as a young boy, and I've been a gamer all my life. So the concept just kind of made sense to me all of a sudden. And I tried, especially after minting my first project, maybe that tapped into the into the gambler in me. But there was something very exciting about the whole thing, not just the experience, but also the and we can talk about this more, just like the potential use cases for NFTs. And so I got very excited, and then I became more and more familiar with the community, and that's what really drew me in and made me stay. The Cardano community, Cardano NFT community specifically, I think is a little bit different from other blockchains. So yeah, I started creating content. I'm a content creator. I stream every Friday on YouTube and Twitch every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I talk about NFTs. I mostly Cardano NFTs, and I create content. I have my newsletter. And that's pretty much, and of course I represent the NFT Viking squad. Like, that's my community, over 3,000 strong NFT Vikings. We yeah, we love our NFTs and do nothing else in that server than talk about NFTs, exciting projects, and things like that.
Awesome. There was a snippet there that you can get later, Paul. I sold all my Ethereum for Cardano.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're the guy to take us further down the NFT rabbit hole. So, and I didn't realize actually you're in the US now. I knew you were Iceland, but I had it in my head you were still in Iceland. I think you shared pictures there a while back of Iceland, and maybe that's why it was
yeah,
in my
I visit
head.
a lot. I visit a lot. So, and I tend to like, there's a lot more incentive to share photos when I'm in Iceland than when I'm here in Indiana. It's just more, no offense to those who live in Indiana, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what might have been in my head. Some of the really nice night sky pictures that you were sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping into it then, for anyone who hasn't heard of NFTs, what are NFTs, or why should people be interested in NFTs?
Yeah, so starting from the beginning, NFTs, I mean, it stands for non-fungible token. They are assets. They're tokenized assets that use blockchain technology to be tokenized or minted. So they're given, unique digital fingerprints, if you will, so they cannot be replicated, and they are permanently minted on the blockchain. And these assets can be JPEGs. That's what people talk about when they talk about NFTs. Collectible JPEGs, or they can be videos, they can be text, they can be pretty much anything digital or traditional artwork that has been digitized. Yeah, that's the fundamental, I guess, concept of NFTs. Why people should care about NFTs, that's a little bit bigger question, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's lots of different, I was going to say use cases. There's some that I would question whether they're use cases, but we might go down them type of avenues as we go. But so that's what NFTs are generally then, and we'll get into some of the use cases as we go through it. But Cardano NFTs versus NFTs on other chains. I see Roki has mentioned there about them being native. They are native on Cardano. I suppose on some other chains they're created using smart contracts, but on Cardano they're done slightly different. Do you want to talk about that, like how an NFT is on Cardano versus other chains?
Yeah, I might not be the best person to ask about that, to be honest. It sounds like who had that comment. Maybe we should ask him.
Roki, I suppose from what I understand with native assets anyway, I know they're created as, people put them as first-class citizens on Cardano, where they are standalone. You don't have to use a smart contract to actually control them or to mint them or anything like that. They can be just minted on their own. Paddy, actually, you've minted NFTs, and you probably are able to jump in here on this one, actually.
Yeah, my little Shamrocks.
Yeah.
They're not as artistic as everybody else, but I did them for the crack. And, the way in which I see it is the big difference from here and from Ethereum and from others is there's no one in between, and there's no smart contract. You can mint everything yourself, and it lives on chain. Well, to an extent. Some of them, in my mind, some of them are using IPFS for the sort of image storage, which is fine too. It's all part of the process. I sort of dislike on chain because it's already bloating so much. But in terms of the native asset, that's, to me, that's what I think is awesome compared to the others. Now, I don't know much about outside Ethereum and how everybody else is doing it. That could be something for us to investigate. I don't know about other chains. Yeah,
this actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Like first question, maybe not a good start, but I might have to do a little bit of a deep dive into this topic, and as I'm learning, maybe share with others.
The only thing I had seen was whenever there was an influx of NFT fans from Ethereum coming into Cardano, maybe last year, and people were trying to sell that as, it's a first-class citizen, blah, blah. Like, I don't really care, and most people don't really care. I just like I just want the NFT. I don't care how it's made or what they got to do or what. Most people don't care about the technicals. It's just like, is the NFT safe? Is it on chain? Is it verifiable that is mine? Well, then nobody really cares about the rest of it. And I've seen the technical side of Cardano trying to sell that as a unique thing, but does most people really, really care whenever they have their NFT and they're viewable within their wallet or any other site, what the underlying blockchain is doing to create that? I would guess no, but there probably is some people who would say, yeah, I like the way Cardano does it compared to the others.
Yeah, for some people, I suppose, like native assets, they can't be frozen, or the creator doesn't have the power to actually pull them back or stop you moving them, where anything created within a smart contract on not just Ethereum, other chains as well, then it can be put into the smart contract that the owner can actually freeze the items. Like you see with, this was the most common one, is USDC or USDT. I know that's a token, but the same kind of powers could be put into it. Roki said here, so on Ethereum, they are created with one of now several standards, being ERC20, 721, etc. They're issued like a smart contract, as you noted, versus being native to the chain. And ADA Legend has each smart contract references your wallet within the smart contract, indicating you are the owner of the asset in Cardano. It's actually associated with your wallet. So I think it does come down to some of the ownership and your control of it. And we can see here what NFT project that ADA Legend is a fan of anyway. We'll probably get on to some of the individual projects after.
Profile pictures.
And this one links into it as well. I haven't, now that's all Ape Society, but we might put that to Thor later, see if he knows any more on it. But we'll get a bit more around Cardano NFTs before talking specific projects. What other topics, Paddy, do you want to get into? So I suppose actually,
do you want to pick one, or will I go for one of the ones we have? A good lot actually, so we could chat.
You go ahead.
I think the burning one for me, and it's because I'm looking in, and then I've checking some statistics. You know, a lot of people are complaining that the liquidity has disappeared from Cardano NFTs. You know, and you know, I can look at the statistics. I'll share a little screen here, Paul, and just bring up the. Let me share my screen. I should be able to do this now. It's been a couple of weeks. Yeah. Okay. You can fire that up for me, Paul.
Yep.
There was a good comment put in there. Did you see it?
This one here.
Yeah. Right. So volumes, you know, and when I look at this, it's easy for me to say, yeah, volumes are down. Great. You know, I don't know much about the whole market space of NFTs and what's going on. It's clear to me that it's going down, but it's like everything, isn't it? You know, DeFi does this, RealFi does this, standard crypto assets do this, you know, the stock market does this, every sort of market in the world does this. So I don't know if you know, Thor or Paul, or you know, maybe if you've looked at it a bit more than me, you know, is it just one of those things that happens normally? The volume is down. People are reevaluating, you know, what's going on?
Yeah, so you're right. Like February has been pretty brutal for the Cardano NFT volume. And why? I mean, we could try to speculate as to why. There, you know, I might have some theories, but yeah, I think it's also
tell us. We love theories here.
So I think because you might not know, and we certainly don't experience it. February was actually a record month in terms of NFTs overall. I think it was the highest volume month for NFTs.
Let's get some of them
since early 2022, but that's you know, on other blockchains. For Cardano, it's been a like the opposite. So we are
good. It was pretty high.
Well, there was the beginning of February, and then it's been pretty rough since then.
Oh, and then, you can see that spike. I don't know if you guys can see this from here. I'll zoom in a little bit more.
You can also drag. You can kind of select the range that you want on Jungle. It's pretty.
Oh, I broke it.
Oops, you broke it.
I'll leave it zoomed out.
It can also be tricky to look at volume because it really depends on you know, what kind of projects are minting. Because we have the Gumbels, we have the Gumbel spike there at the end of February. But that was, you know, everybody saw that coming. But you know, so starting with Gumbels, and for the next 6 weeks, we have several really big NFT drops coming up. And we've known about them for a while because these projects have been building and generating hype for a while. And one of the theories, one of my theories, is that people are trying to liquidate to get into those upcoming projects. So they are not buying what's already out there. They are, if anything, they're trying to sell. And we've seen the number of buyers has been going down, you know, every week. And I think that might be a contributing factor. But then, you know, obviously the general environment, you know, what the Fed is doing and traditional markets, you know, that's a big, you know, that obviously has a direct impact.
Well, that's what I was wondering, you know, in terms of me being outside a bit, and I play a lot with Cardano tokens, you know, I'm buying and selling and trading them myself. And it you know, there's been a few, as you can say, some of them have pumped and some of them have lost a lot. How has that general scene been in the NFT scene in terms of selling over the past couple? Is it suffering the same as everybody else, or has it been having its own spikes in different projects and, you know, people unexpectedly doing well? You know, we had AGIX. Now, okay, AI is a current theme at the minute in the world of everything, and that's flying, you know, but that's not really relatable in NFTs, but there might be some AI generated. But I mean, is there anything out there that's coming out of nowhere and just going parabolic?
Yeah, these days it's more about, you know, it's more common to see things go the other direction. But yeah, it does happen. I mean, the NFT space, it's like Inception. Like, you know, we are in a market that is within a more volatile market within a more volatile market. So the NFT space is super volatile and unpredictable. So you have to kind of understand that going in, and when you are spending ADA or money on NFTs, you really have to understand that you might never get that back. But yeah, we do see that, and sometimes it feels random. I remember the Ape Society. We might talk about them later. They were slowly bleeding the floor price for I think several months, and then it went from 2K ADA to a 10K floor price within a week.
Wow!
Just like that.
Let me check them. Let me check their activity. Okay, over the past. Oh yeah, so it was nothing.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of what it is now.
Exactly.
And what, you know, and it maybe this is never going to be answered, but what made that change? Is it just a bigger community? Is that the big thing, or is it catches on, or is that the secret to NFTs that nobody really knows?
Yeah, now you're going straight to the $1 million question. Yes, I mean, this is like asking, you know, how does the Google algorithm really work? Nobody really knows, but at the end of the day, just studying economics, right? It's about creating demand for your NFTs and constantly having that buying pressure and limiting selling pressure. And there are various ways to do that. Obviously, community. If you have a strong, big community, you can increase buying pressure. And there are various tokenomics kind of concepts that you can use to try to limit selling pressure. And we can talk about staking and things like that. But yeah, there are many different ways, and projects try a lot of different things, but only a few are really successful, to be honest, if you look at the long term.
Yeah, I think going back to just Ape Society on this one, from what I remember, when they really took off, that's when other influencers from other chains started talking about Cardano NFTs, and the Ape Society was talked about as being a blue chip, and it brought in a new wave of people in around that time, We might get onto the topic of blue chips and stuff like that in a bit as well. But I think that really started a big wave within Cardano NFTs in general, was when people outside of, so one topic, go on to it now, that I wanted to talk about was how NFTs have evolved on Cardano over the last 2 years. So yesterday, or not yesterday, last Wednesday, we should have done this stream last Wednesday actually, because last Wednesday it was 2 years since we had native assets on Cardano. So it would have been good actually to talk about it then. But over them 2 years, how has the NFT scene changed? And another one actually, before we get to that, we talked about NFTs on other chains. Have you looked into Bitcoin NFTs yet? That's something.
Yeah, ordinals. Yeah, I've been really trying to dive into those recently.
Awesome.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Before we get into how Cardano has changed over 2 years, NFTs on Bitcoin, are they similar to Cardano? I know that they use the same type of model as Cardano in they don't use an account-based model, but I haven't looked into Bitcoin NFTs yet. Is there much going on? All I see is people on Twitter talking about how ordinals was one. There was one or two other ones as well where it was like people spent next to nothing and now they're worth millions, the NFTs that they got.
Yeah, so again, on the technical side of things, I'm not your guy, but looking at, I mean, this really only started in January. This is like brand new, and this is happening on Bitcoin, which obviously has is the king of crypto, largest market cap by far. So I actually did a post the other day. I was looking at NFT volume as a ratio of the market cap of the cryptocurrency, and because I figured that might give us an indication of what was the potential here for the NFT space on that chain. And Bitcoin ordinals was obviously like way down, like the lowest ratio by far. But they've reached the top 10 in terms of NFT volume really fast. And I think on a shorter time frame, I was looking at 30 days. On a shorter time frame, they are like at number 1, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, this is really new. It's happening really fast. And whenever something like that happens in the NFT space, everybody jumps on it, gets excited because it's the next big thing. And we can see, now people can make the 10x, 100x videos again and get excited about that. And that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, I think this comment actually sums it up from what I've seen as well, is there is a love-hate relationship with NFTs on Bitcoin at the minute. Like hardcore Bitcoin maxis hate it. They don't want to see that coming onto the chain. It's bloating the chain. It's raising fees. Transaction fees are starting to go up, even though general transaction volume is down. But and as you said, people are looking for them 10, 100x's. They're loving the gambling aspect of it.
Yeah.
Is that Yuga I read there? That's the Bored Ape Yacht Club, isn't it?
Yes, Yuga Labs.
Yuga Labs, yeah. And then the punks also. I think they are probably the biggest ones. The ordinal punks. So yeah. I mean, this seems to be kind of the next big thing, and I can see why some of the Bitcoin maxis are annoyed by this, because if you look at the graphs that show the increase in the block sizes and it's pretty significant. It's making a significant impact. But I've also been talking to some people, and we're starting to see Cardano NFT projects explore the space and mint their artwork on Bitcoin, burning it on Cardano and bringing it over to Bitcoin. And that's something that I've been noticing. A couple of projects doing that, like the Mallard Order and others. And but the people I'm talking to, they mentioned that there's like a higher ratio of like true collectors there looking to really collect, not just flip NFTs, and that is actually something interesting. It's something that I want to explore a little bit more, because we're all like that's the the image that we have, and something that we get so tired of are all these flippers, and how, it's all about making a few bucks, minting and flipping and moving on to the next shiny thing. That gets a little tiring.
Yeah, I think building a community is definitely a hardcore community, or one that believes in where the project is going, is one of the hardest things out there for projects, it seems, and ones that will believe in it. Because from standing back looking at a lot of it, I've got involved in a few mints, but not near as many as you would have been involved in. But you always get the sell-off after the mint happens. Someone doesn't get a rare item, or they don't get what they were expecting for a quick flip. They sell off, you see the drop. But that's where you need your solid community that you've built up to be able to come in and buy up and believe in where the project is going. So projects that just appeared overnight, they can't do it anymore. I think early on when NFTs launched on Cardano, it was the hot thing. Kind of, I would say there's similarities on Bitcoin right now. It's the hot thing. People want to get in, have a chance of, they see the returns some people are getting. And that's the way it was on Cardano first. You could put out a project and it launched. The first one that I got involved in was Cardano Bits, where it was put up in a Google Doc, the address that you had to send the ADA to, and you sent it off. You didn't know if you were going to get an NFT or you were going to get your ADA back. And we look back at it now, it's crazy. But at the time, everybody seemed to be doing it, and I minted a few at that stage. And
did you flip them?
Sorry?
Did you flip them?
I minted 4 and I still hold 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
And I only sold one maybe 3 months ago or something like that. And that gave me back the ADA I put into the 4 of them. So I have 3 of them sitting there, and look, it's one of the early projects. So it'll probably never be worth a whole lot. And we'll see. It's the memory of minting that way that I'll hold.
Exactly. Yeah, you got in a little bit earlier than me. I happen to hold 3 bits myself as well.
Okay, nice. So how have you seen the space evolve since you come into it for Cardano NFTs?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of gone through a lot of different eras, if you will. One of my passion projects, I created this project called 500 Days. You can look it up on JPEG Store, 500 Days of Cardano NFTs, where I documented the first 500 days of, the name says it all, right?
Yeah.
And so, I am kind of a history nerd, and I think it's important that we remember kind of where we've come from, and we're only 2 years old, right? We've only, as a space, we've only been here for 2 years. So, but a lot has happened in 2 years. And yeah, I guess you started it by telling us about the CPITs mint using Excel spreadsheets, and then from there, I entered in August. There was quite a bit happening before then. We had obviously the legendary collections like Space Buds. That was the first 10K collection. That's minting there on the 23rd. We had Claymates. We had NFT makers started there, and with their first version in April. So there was a lot happening on SIGs with Monad Alexander, and
it doesn't let me zoom in. Yeah. I would have liked to zoom. I have to buy one then, and then I can see it.
Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna have to look at it on the the actual NFT to zoom in. But yeah, we've come a long way. And then from there, I remember back in the day when I was just sending in from my Daedalus wallet, syncing for a few hours, and then as fast as I could, when the project dropped an address, you send your ADA and just hope for the best. Hopefully somebody, and we're actually seeing that type of thing happen with ordinals right now, which is kind of interesting. Like you were saying, Paul, we're the Bitcoin ordinal space seems to be in that period right now, and it feels kind of barbaric, if you will.
You've already evolved. You've evolved.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, that was back in the day, but that's also when you could mint pretty much anything and it was profitable. So it's, I stopped caring about doing my research. I just minted anything that got any attention, and then I flipped a couple, got all my ADA back, and held a few. That was just a strategy that worked until it stopped working.
Mm. That's a bit of a game. One question I've always asked, and what are blue chips, and when? They don't think I need to present anymore. Probably want to take that away.
No.
What are they? And is there like a cutoff date that says all these guys are blue chips, all these guys after aren't blue chips, or is it just down to what anybody thinks? You know what I mean? It's like, or can you, after a period of time, once you've aged a wee bit, do you then graduate to being a blue chip? I've always been wondering, it's probably not been defined.
No, it's definitely not defined, and there's a constant debate on it. But age definitely has, it's a factor, but it's not the only variable. So to become a blue chip, in my mind, you have to have proven your worth and over a significant amount of time, and been able to provide value in terms of at least maintain a proper valuable floor price for a while, and then you might be considered a blue chip. But it's also about the size of your community, and then I would bring in other factors like, have you brought any innovation to the space, done anything differently? Were you first doing something? Things like that. So I would only maybe pick 2 or 3 projects as blue chips in the Cardano NFT space. But yeah, then it just depends on who you ask. They might give you a different answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you get lots of arguments as well over who are the blue chip projects, and it really comes down to the individual's perception or belief in a project, because there is no definition to say, right, this project has been here this long, they're still here, they haven't rugged, they're a blue chip. Or everyone has a different or slightly different definition on it. Like, you could come out and say one of the old, like the first one we mentioned there, Space Buds, was the first 10K collection on Cardano. Some people, well, a lot of people will consider it a blue chip because of being the first and how they done their mint. It was innovative. And others will say you can't because they're not continually developing. But when you compare, lots of people take what Alessandro has contributed and all the development he's done as coming from Space Buds, and give Space Buds blue chip because of that. So there's no one definition to classify a blue chip.
Exactly. But going back to the kind of the history, the 2-year history that we have, I think the way I look at it, the Alonso hard fork, that was September 21. Yep. So I think of pre-smart contract projects and post-smart contract projects. That's one of the categorizations that I have in my mind. So if you're really an OG if you minted before the Alonso hard fork.
Yes, was that brought in? We had as well back then, pre-smart contracts, we had CNFT.io. That was the main marketplace, wasn't it? And then it wasn't smart contract based. So what you used to find was people would put up an NFT for sale, and if it sold too quickly, they were thinking, oh shit, I should have asked for more for it. So they cancelled and didn't do the sale then, and relisted it for a higher price. So that really annoyed a lot of people who were trying to buy on the marketplace. They thought they were getting a good deal, and then all of a sudden the person pulls out of it. So there was a 24-hour period, from what I can remember, that the seller had to actually send the NFT in, and it was a bit of a disaster. And it was the downfall eventually for CNFT.io, and started JPEG Store, then became the big marketplace on Cardano. And for a long time there was basically the only NFT marketplace that a lot of people went to. I think it was 96, 97% of the volume. But lately we've seen a few new marketplaces try to come out anyway. Have you looked into many of the new ones yet, or what's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I think JPEG Store still has upwards of 98% of market share, but we don't have all the data. I don't think we have all the data from Plutus. So Plutus.art is the latest one to launch, and then I'm also looking forward to the launch of Flipper.io. They are the team behind Ghost Chain, the project Ghost Chain. So that's kind of the next big competitor. There are some other marketplaces that, Epoch Art and some others, but yeah, I only use JPEG Store because at the end of the day, you're going to use the marketplace that has the widest selection, that has all the NFTs, and that is one of the main issues, to be honest. Until we have standards where you can you can list your NFT to all different marketplaces with a couple of clicks. I think it's going to be really difficult to dethrone JPEG Store.
Oh, that's not there yet. So what was coming into my head there was, is there no like aggregator process, like the usually swap for dexes type of sort of scenario? I guess that's not in the NFT sphere yet.
There is
not
Jam on Bread, is it?
Yeah, Jam on Bread.
They were bringing out an NFT marketplace that was from Vacuum Labs or Wing Riders, from what I remember. But it never really got much traction. But I know they had that aggregator built in that you could list it on their deck or on their marketplace, or it also pulled in all the listings from the other ones. But there's no real incentive for aggregators yet because they get nothing from the sales if it happens on another exchange.
Yeah, so I mean, like Jungle is technically, well, are they still doing that? Now the Jungle team works for JPEG Store, so I don't really know. But okay. There are projects like Floorless.io that are working on building a protocol, and that can be implemented, on all marketplaces. That is going to make this a lot easier. So we have this protocol where you can basically trade, buy, sell NFTs all in one place from any marketplace. And I think I'd love to see that happen because we need more competition. I think competition is healthy when it comes to marketplaces, and I mean any business.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think everybody knows JPEG Store is sort of running the show. And I do remember CNFT could have, if they had have moved a lot quicker, CNFT.io. And that's what everybody was using. If they had have implemented smart contracts, they might have still been, a massive market share. And JPEG Store, yeah, they're running the show, and I'd like to see as you say, Thor, more, and allowing that to be an open, competitive marketplace is probably what JPEG Store don't want, because it's better for them and their business. It is a business at the end of the day. So it's like the DEX scene. It's better for everybody else when there is competition. And then people focus slightly on a little bit of MinSwap and Wing Riders. They're very similar, but they also have little things that are different that they're slightly better at than each other. And they sort of enhance those little bits. And then it makes it, I use this for this and use that for that, which is good, and they create further enhancements in different areas, and also the general mix. So I would welcome it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's just unfortunate that these marketplaces are coming out now when volume is almost at an all-time low. I think ideally we would have enough volume to sustain, a few or make a few marketplaces profitable, because like you said, yeah, they can focus on different things. We could have a low-cost marketplace. We can have a marketplace with all the bells and whistles. We can have a marketplace that focuses more on art, like Cardano.io. I think hopefully there will be space for several different marketplaces and healthy competition.
Yeah, I had used Artano, and what I was looking for, and this was me randomly thinking one day, like I want to buy something. So I seen it as more as the artistic exchange or NFT marketplace. It's like this is more arts. Is I want to buy something that's really artsy, really nice, and I found a few nice pieces, and I bought one that was expensive. And what I wanted was a fully fledged service where I wanted to print it, I wanted it to get sent here, and I wanted it up on the wall, you know. And I just thought that sort of would feed into their sort of marketplace. They're selling art, you know, is the way that I seen it, and like, so give me the art as well, you know. And I thought that gap, that customer service gap, just wasn't there with it. It was like, it was still trying to be the NFT marketplace thing when it's actually more of an art selling NFT back sort of marketplace. And I was like, well, if I'm going to buy this, I just want it, you know. I want to hold it, I want to keep it. Yeah, I can prove I own it, but I don't want to have it on my wallet where nobody can see it. I want it up on my walls because some of the pieces are amazing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that might be an opportunity for them. They could even just partner up with. There are a couple of services and companies on Cardano that specialize in this, and I actually have a couple of pieces on my wall, from them, and it looks great. So, you know, that this some sort of collaboration. Yeah, I think that might be great.
Yeah, I suppose liquidity is the problem. It's the same for DEXs, is to get the liquidity in. And in terms of NFTs, it is getting enough of NFTs to sell that will, when someone thinks, I want to buy an ape from Ape Society, where do they go? Right now, you go to JPEG Store because you know that's where the most liquidity is going to be. There's going to be the most options are going to be there. And how you can actually flip that is very hard. Like if CNFT.io had to be the first to implement smart contracts, or even if they weren't just as quick as JPEG Store, if they had to get it a few weeks later, then they could have made the marketplace very competitive, or they probably still would be the number one marketplace on Cardano, because when someone has that monopoly, it's extremely hard to change it. I know Plutus.art, are they trying to do some kind of profit share where, I don't know if you have to hold an NFT or you have to hold a token? And then JPEG Store have come out since Plutus Art said they're launching. JPEG Store have come out and said about a token. But do you have any insights on either of them, on the profit share side or the token?
Oh, I just know that they, there was some drama. Let's just put it that way. There was some drama surrounding this. I've had Fettuccini. He's a co-founder of Plutus Art. I've had a conversation on my channel with him, and I actually had a marketplace roundtable that was also pretty interesting, where I had Professor Cardano. He's the co-founder of CNFT.io, which is explosive now, by the way. And yeah, there was a little bit of drama because JPEG Store has been accused by a few people of some
competition.
What is it called? Yeah, anti-competitive kind of behavior, I guess. And so when they teased that, and this is in relation to profit sharing and how that can be, you know, questionable legally, how you treat that. So Plutus, they spent a lot of money on lawyers, and say that they have everything kind of covered. I didn't really get any details on that really, but and I actually don't know if we have all the details on how they are going to do that. But yes, I know that they are doing some profit sharing, and they also have a leaderboard. You can earn experience points and things like that. They're doing some things differently. But with the JPEG token, I don't even know how it's going to be distributed. I know nothing about that, honestly. I don't think they've released, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I don't think we have any more information. Not the last time I checked, we did not have any information or details on the JPEG Store token. People don't know if it's going to be airdropped or if there's going to be a sale. But yeah, some people just thought it was a little hypocritical that they were now going this route after trying to prevent others from doing that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any details on the drop, only that one post they put out showing a token. And they haven't actually confirmed that they're launching a token, I suppose. The community just took that post, unless there was something else since that. Community took the post, me included, as they are dropping a token. And you would expect that it would have to be based on previous actions on the marketplace. Like we've seen other chains, we've seen where marketplaces have dropped a token later on. The airdrop is generally for the most active people on the on the marketplace. And
that's what most people are assuming, but they also have that test NFT collection. There were some people speculating that those would give some boosts or something like that. So I noticed an increase in volume on their Hippo NFT collection that they're test tokens. So
it'll be interesting to see how that affects the liquidity on the marketplaces as well, because if NFT holders receive a big drop of the token, if they can sell them off on dexes for ADA, will they then look to put that funds back into the NFT marketplaces, or what they would do with that? So potentially there could be an inflow of liquidity into NFTs once the token drops, but it has to come down to what is the reason someone will buy the token. If there's no actual use case, if the use case of the token is just discounts on listing fees or discounts on buying and selling your pieces, then that's not really going to incentivize many people outside the NFT space to actually want to buy the token. So outside of profit share, I don't know where the use case is going yet. So it'll be very interesting to see it. And this is actually one that Ada Legend says here about the collection offerings to allow better exit and entry liquidity. First marketplace that offers this will have a competitive advantage. And this definitely is a feature that I don't know why it isn't there yet. Like,
we've been asking for it for a while.
Yeah, it seems like it should be a standard feature. And for anyone who doesn't understand it, it's like basically I want to buy whatever NFT, the collection X. I want to buy any NFT from that. If I want to buy it, I have to go into an individual piece within that and I put in my bid on that. But with an NFT collection offering, I could put in and say, I'm willing to take any NFT from this 10,000 piece collection for X amount of ADA. And actually just saying that Jam on Bread had that, because I remember when they launched, I put, I'm nearly sure I put a collection offer in. I'll have to look that up now.
It sounds very simple.
It sounds
it's been on Ethereum for a long time, obviously.
Yeah, we do. Is it not like how we do limit orders and stuff was on our dexes? You know, is it not?
Yeah, but it would be that you would do it. Yeah, you can see there that Jam on Bread have it already. So saying that it would have a...
I did not know that.
Like, I just went into it here and I can see I have make a collection offer. So offer can be accepted with any NFT from this collection. So, but the problem on this is that there isn't many of these listed on Jam on Bread. So it only goes in for the ones. Now they're showing everything that's listed. So you'd be buying some of these off other NFT marketplaces, but maybe it's that people don't know that the feature is here. But if more people know, it would encourage more users to start using. Now I've no affiliation at all with this marketplace. I just went into it because of when I knew Vacuum Labs was behind it. It came out at the same time as Wing Riders. That's why I come in, and I remember I put in a collection offer at the time, but it never seemed to kick off.
Yeah, this is I can't believe that I didn't know this. I think I'm gonna tweet this out. If I didn't know this, then there are probably a bunch of other people who don't know. So
I'm glad we could teach you something about NFTs, man.
Exactly. Well,
you're an expert.
No, I'm definitely not an expert. I'm just a degen. But this highlights the issue, right? Like, I haven't been on Jam on Bread for months. I knew about it. I remember when they launched, and I used them a few times just to check it out. But then it's just JPEG Store, because that's where all the listings are. So
yeah. And I don't think they done much on the marketing side either, which didn't help it either, help get the word out there. But Ken says to recap the first, welcome Ken, to recap the first 45 minutes. Just stick it on to 1.5x and it won't take you a full 45 minutes. But at Cardano NFTs, who Cardano Thor is, a bit about Bitcoin NFTs and liquidity, stuff like that. So that about sums it up.
Yeah.
It should be airdropped, in my opinion. They're quite well funded. Yeah, so this is about JPEG Sword. They got C Fund. Did they actually get Catalyst funding as well, or did they pull out of that? I know there was a bit of controversy around that as well, that they got C Fund and then we're still going after Catalyst. I don't know if they actually got Catalyst.
I can't be certain, but there's
can't remember.
Yeah,
I know that they got quite a bit of funding, but I can't remember if they got it from both.
Okay. Ken says, oh, Ken might be rewatching back from the start. I'm not sure. This could be when we were talking about the tokens. So design utilization for them is only the first challenge. Community adoption is true measure of token success. So yeah, like you have to give people reasons to actually use the token or hold the token or want to buy it. And that's why even when lots of NFT projects have dropped tokens after, so they've airdropped tokens to NFT holders, it helps push up the price of the NFTs leading up to the snapshot. And then afterwards, if there's no follow-on with use case for the tokens, then generally the token price just dumps. It'll pump in the beginning, and then it just drops off a cliff.
Yeah, there are way too many projects creating these utility tokens. Giving people airdropping tokens and offering staking, like that's not utility. That's absolutely worthless unless it gives you access to something that is not worthless. So I think more projects need to think about that ahead of time. Like, why should people care? Why should people want to own this token? What kind of value does it give access to?
Yeah, and this isn't just NFTs. I mean, there's so many crypto projects out there in general. It's like, why do they have a token, or what does the token do, or why would someone actually hold it? Like, you see a lot of tokens projects that offer yield farming, and you just get more and more tokens, but all the people actually do is just sell off the tokens because there's no point holding them. There's no reason that the token price will go up because there isn't any buyers out there. All it does is reward people for either yield farming or holding another token. And if there's nothing to actually do with the token, then they're all just going to sell off. Donald says here, new riddle in Black Owl's Discord. Can you big brains help me with an answer? I haven't seen. If you put the riddle in here, we'll see what it is. But
love block owls. Love block owls.
I got a bit of a change topic then, Paul, slightly.
Okay.
And it was just to brainstorm use cases and future use cases. And we see, and we have seen, and everybody have seen over the past 2 years, multiple different types of NFTs coming out. But what I'm looking forward to is, and maybe you'll know some who are coming in the future, Thor, is someone who's changing the game, maybe bringing something different. I'm a big fan of World Mobile, and our node ownership is NFT locked, and it's awesome. It's cool. It's a nice way of innovating in that area. Is there any others that are doing anything slightly like that or better or sort of different? And another 2-part question, I guess, for both of you guys is, what use cases do you want to see coming to NFTs? I'm still waiting on people building ticketing systems, and if anybody's putting on a concert, even some of the shows, and I would even expect to see even the summit that I have a NFT that I have in my wallet for my entry and stuff like that. Getting this adoption is part of it. So I want to see that, the use cases and potentials, and someone who's doing things different, if you guys know any.
Yeah, and just maybe to add on to that before we get into trying to answer that, I think it's super important that we try to make NFTs easier to use, I guess. Give them utility and make it easier to use. So easy that people don't really realize that they're using it. And I think that is really the key to adoption. It's whether it's in gaming or art or whatever it is. The maybe the focus shouldn't be on the fact that it's an NFT. It should be on the problem it's solving, and then all of a sudden people are using NFTs to solve their problem without really understanding or caring that it's an NFT.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of projects that are innovating, yeah, World Mobile Token is definitely doing some interesting things. I had a chat with a couple of the team members the other day. They're reaching out to people in the community and trying to kind of spread the word, which is great to see. Yeah, good question. I hadn't really. It's kind of sad that I can't think of one immediately. That is, we definitely need more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not interested in the whole art side of it too, which is also very important. And there's the communities in there are massive and awesome. But I'm looking to see, different use cases. I'm a big fan, as I've probably said on this channel for quite a while now. Real world adoption in crypto I'm a big advocate for that. And I want to see the NFTs scene come into that sphere as well. There's no reason why I can't have owned something and have it verified and an NFT created as my. Now I don't have a Rolex. I'd love to be able to afford one, but what would be the harm in them generating an NFT that's on the blockchain forever that verifies my ownership, and that watch is legit? Because a big part of Rolexes is getting them verified that they are legit. And it would sort of, no, I'm not giving out ideas, but it's just to give you that potential use cases. There's probably tons more, and I'd like to see what we have. Probably what the NFT scene has done at the minute, they've verified the technology. They've tested it. It's been battle tested. It's probably ready for bigger real world adoption items.
Yeah, I think you mentioned ticketing there. I think that's an area that NFTs could play a huge role in if the right, I suppose, systems are built around it. Like, say there's an event happening, your ticket for the event is an NFT. So you could go to the event, your NFT gets you in there. After it, you can keep the NFT as your souvenir of the event, or the organizers of the event could also put on other things. Like, there could be there's a store with merch for the event that only NFT holders can go in and buy, or you get a discount for holding it. So you could keep the NFT after the event, or you could sell it on. Now, a merch store is a very basic example, but there could be other things like you get discounts for future events if you hold the NFT from a previous one. And I think there's a lot of different use cases could be used there. And someone mentioned gaming. Jesper, I think, mentioned it earlier. I think that is an area that's ripe for NFTs, but the approach shouldn't be get into crypto, it's NFTs, it's this. You need to bring in gamers, build a game that the gaming community will come in and play the game because they like the game. And the generation that's growing up playing games now, they have high expectations of what the game will be, but they're already educated on NFTs and the whole marketplace that can come with that. And we need to show them that, like, the items you're buying in game, like, you're spending a lot of money on the different items that are in game when you're ready. So you give them the items as they would get in a game normally, but you give them the option to actually convert them to an NFT then as well, where the items they have earned in the game or they have bought in the game, they can mint them as an NFT and be able to sell them on marketplaces. And the game will actually, so if I've upgraded my suit of armor in some game and I've paid a decent amount of money to do it, in the background, it's actually an NFT that's assigned to me, but me as the gamer, I don't have to care about that. But you can educate. So many people learn so much from games. So that can be a path, I think, to educate people on crypto and NFTs. And if you show them this is an NFT that you can hold in your wallet, that you can then go on, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want in the aftermarket. I think there's a big use case there that we're not ready for it yet. I don't think we have games of that standard just yet. Hopefully we see them in the next few years, but that's definitely a good on-ramp, I think.
Couldn't agree more. And I don't know if you've talked to Farmer Nash. He's the creator of Gumballs that recently dropped. It's a mobile game that's coming out.
No, I haven't got to talk to him, but I've seen him around Twitter, and
Yeah, he was basically
he's done things the right way in building up a really strong community from what I've seen, and has went against the grain in some areas. But I think that really stands when you see that people are holding the NFTs now, and they seem to really have a solid community. And he seems to be all about building for that community.
And I really like. He basically would agree with what you just said. It's his focus. He's not creating a useless utility token, for example. His focus is on creating a good mobile game that anybody is going to want to play. And that's going to be the focus, not selling out an NFT collection. But yeah, speaking, while you were talking, I kind of went through a list of interesting projects that are doing things a little bit differently. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna mention a few. Whiskey's NFTs, they are basically offering you ownership in whiskey casks. I think that's an interesting project. Frescoes, they are giving you it's basically a travel utility NFT project. So you will get discounts on hotels and things like that if you hold their NFTs. Jesus 2, it's Jesse. He's worked on Adventure Time and other like really successful cartoons, and he is using his project to try to create a feature animation basically, and I think that's really cool. It's basically an art project, but it's really unique. And speaking of films, there's Newcast. They are holding the first decentralized film festival. It's coming up pretty soon. I think that's pretty cool. I've seen a couple of projects get into real estate investments, like what's it called? Platypus something. I can't remember. Beeshive, they are building beehives. Their goal is to create to set up 1,000 beehives and basically pay people in honey, or they can sell the honey and get ADA instead. And then gotta mention book.io. They are doing really interesting things with ebooks and audiobooks.
Yeah, our buddy Guillermo joined them recently, and he was giving us a good overview of that. We'll probably have him on again now that he has officially joined. But yeah, they're awesome, and their generative stuff is pretty cool. And what you were saying earlier, Paul, is that idea of a generative art piece. The way I envisage it, if you're doing tickets to something, you could have generative art on your ticket NFT as well, just to throw another idea out there for someone who's going to build this ticketing system.
I thought you were building it. We've talked about stuff like this. You're meant to be building it for me. Yeah.
I don't have any time. 24 hours isn't enough in a day. Someone will build it, and it will be successful. And a lot of the learnings from the likes of book.io, where you can have an NFT in a wallet and can only be usable by you, and it's encrypted and stuff, it's going to be needed. So yeah, maybe they'll branch out.
It has been tried, and it has been built. The first ticket, I guess it depends on how you want the system to work. But I do remember it's maybe over a year ago when I bought my first ticket to see a documentary. It was Steve 3PO. I don't know if you've heard of that artist. He's a relatively famous artist on Cardano. He created a film called A Failed Artist, I think it's called. And I remember buying a ticket where you had to hold the ticket, and now I have it in my wallet, and it's forever a like a little souvenir. And I really like that.
Yeah, see, NWE was talking here about FLAC, and I suppose there's other ones have done stuff like this as well, where the NFT gives you a boost in
a lot of
IFO rewards and governance power and stuff like that. And I think they're okay to see use cases for NFTs there, but I want to see, outside of just giving you more monetary incentive for holding the token, I've also seen, was it Teddy Swamp done, where the NFT, they sold NFTs, and you were going to get a certain amount of tokens depending on the rarity or something that you got. But to me, not financial advice, and I don't mean it just about that specific project, but a lot of that is just masking an ICO, in that you're selling to raise funds for the project. You're doing it through an NFT, but in reality, people are swapping the NFTs just for more tokens. And I want to see use cases outside of just that financial gain by holding the token or getting extra rewards for holding the token. We need to look outside of crypto for the real big use cases.
Here's I just had an idea of a cool NFT project that kind of, I'm a trail runner, and I know, for runners out there, especially trail runners, you've heard of fastest known times, FKTs. How cool would it be if you would get your record, or you climb mountains, and there are certain routes, right? And the proof that you have completed this or hold a record of some sort will be an NFT with some information about what you've done. Like, that would be cool. I don't know, just thinking on the fly.
Yeah, lots of use cases out there, and then that is there forever. Like the record of that is there forever. So let's have a look down through comments and see. Actually, Thor, I forgot to ask you on time. We're gone over the hour now. What's your time? Do you have to head off?
I'm good for now. Probably good for another 15 minutes or so.
Perfect. Yeah, we said that we'll try and wrap these up. Generally, the hour to hour and a half. Myself and Paddy have a tendency to talk too much at times. So,
we've been good. We've been good the past couple of weeks. I think I only had like one or two more sort of random topics, anyway. So we should be fine. We'll finish before 12. That's our
then you talked about projects there. So when you're looking to get into a new project, so we talked about earlier on that last year it was like you just get into everything because generally the prices are just going to go up. But when you're looking to get into a project now, what do you look for? Or what would make you more interested in minting a project?
Yeah, now these days I'm very careful with my ADA, and I'm very picky on which projects I mint. So there are several different factors that I look at, but in my experience, the most important thing is the team, the people who are behind the project. So this is why I started interviewing project creators, because I want to see them face to face, and I want to be able to ask them questions and get a feel for what kind of people they are. I think that's one of the most important things. But it also, honestly, it depends on your goals. I like to buy NFTs that I want to hold for a long time. I'm not a quick flipper. I don't like to mint and then try to time it, so that I make a little bit of profit here and there within 24-hour period. I like to buy and hold for months or years. So, that's why I look at the team. That's why that's, one of the most important things. The other thing is it doing something unique? Or is it just kind of following a formula and trying to copy someone else's success? Is it innovating? And then, I roughly put things into three categories. Is it an art project, a collectible, or a utility project? If it's not an art project, then what kind of utility or value is it creating? Is it creating a service? What is the value, and how valuable does it actually look like? Have they already built something, or is it all promises? I'd like to see, some proof of concept already here before I mint something. Because we could talk about rug pulls and things like that. But then I also look at the actual NFT, and I look for signs of high effort. Have they put a lot of effort into the collection? in terms of the artwork. Who's the artist? Is the artist on the team, or are they outsourcing? Can I find this artwork on Fiverr? I think that's obviously super important. Even if it's just a utility project, I don't want to be embarrassed to have this NFT in my wallet. I want to enjoy looking at it at the very least. So, and if I see signs of low effort, whether it's low variety in traits or just bad artwork, then there might be low effort in other areas of that project. So these are some of the things that I think about before I mint or buy. And then, of course, if it's a new project, then mint price and supply, community strength, what kind of community, and marketing, things like that.
Do NFT buyers worry about the team being doxed or not?
Some do, yes. I would say that it is, for me, it's pretty important. It is, at the very least, a really nice bonus if they are doxed. But it's not, if people ask, do you have to be doxed in order to be successful? The answer is no, you don't have to be. There are a lot of undoxed projects that have been very successful if you define success by volume and floor price and things like that. But yeah, for me, it's almost a requirement at this point that the project creators, they dox themselves, and that's basically what I'm offering creators to do when I have them on my stream. It's like, hey, show your face, build a little bit of trust. And there are only a couple of projects that I have interviewed on camera are not here anymore, because usually the creators that are willing to do that, they are committed kind of in the long run. They are not here just to extract ADA from the community.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense.
As a content creator, would you interview people now that aren't doxed? Both cases, project that's a new project coming up that has built a bit of traction, or a project that's already out there, has a project delivered. Would you ever bring them on your channel that are undoxed? I'm having this discussion in my own head at the minute on certain projects, whether I do it or not.
From my perspective, I'm much more likely to do that if it's someone who has already, because you can build trust without being doxed. You can build your reputation and build trust without doxing. And yeah, I have considered this and actually done it. Like, for example, Aeonium Sky, he's a very celebrated and respected artist on Cardano, but he's not doxed. But I have always felt comfortable because he's been in the space for a long time. You can tell that he's committed to being here for the community. And so I would feel very comfortable interviewing someone like that who is not doxed and recommending their NFTs.
Yeah, I suppose it comes down to track record. If they have a proven track record, and I think I would bring on, but I'd be very, very picky about that, and they have to have a proven track record of delivering, and so there is something there. But you mentioned rug pulls there. Anything to give people advice on kind of standard signs of rug pulls, or things to watch out for in new projects coming up that are potential? I know they're very hard to pick, but is there any general trends you see or things to worry about or watch out for?
Yeah, this has actually been a topic of debate lately on Twitter. Just like, what is a rug pull? Maybe, we could probably have an hour-long conversation of what that is. We recently saw Rogue Galaxies as an NMaker project backed by NMaker. You guys know NMaker and Patrick. And there was a lot of drama surrounding that because they basically admitted defeat. I would probably personally categorize it as a failure. It's a startup that failed, didn't take off like they wanted it to, and so they pivoted. But a lot of people are calling that a rug pull. But and they probably got a lot of heat because they did not show any of the signs of being a rug pull, because they and those signs, I would say, would be like a quick turnaround time. You launch a project and the mint is coming up pretty soon already. That's a red flag. Botted socials. If you see a lot of fake engagement on Twitter and Discord, that's a red flag. And then you look for the small thing, undoxed team. That's doesn't fill you with confidence either. And then you look for the small things, like I said, like how much effort is being put into anything they put out, the artwork, the server layout, basically anything that they do. That's but you never really know, but those are some of the things that I look at.
That was a good thing that you said there. And I don't want to keep us here for another hour, but is a field project a rug pull? But then who decides if it failed or not? Because to everybody who's bought them, they're going to be like, well, it's failed, it's gone, it's a rug pull. I classify it's gone. But the people who were creating that project, loads of different things can happen. Labor costs, thing costs, depending on what they were building. And they might have had it all planned out, and everything could have been great. And it can just fall apart. And you look at the likes of Ardana, within Cardano's sort of DeFi area, massive project, huge. Would you say it was a rug pull? Some are saying that, and some are saying it just failed, and it was badly managed is probably the better term. And that's probably the same within NFT scenes where, here's a collection of NFTs and we're going to build X, Y, and Z. Maybe they don't even really think about the X, Y, and Z until they finish selling. And then they realize the cost of hiring people to do certain things is pretty expensive. And that's what I think. It's weird, isn't it?
It is. I've talked to Dan. Dan, you guys remember Coco Locos? Crypto recruiter Dan. Shout out to Dan. He's I get a lot of hate for liking that guy, but
no, he's awesome, man. That guy puts out tons of amazing content on Cardano.
Exactly. You gotta appreciate that. But
Dan's a good guy. I've been on a live stream with him and Big Pay before, and he comes across as a really genuine, nice guy.
But what happened there? Was that just failed management of that NFT project?
That's the thing. Like he gets he's infamous for using the word experiment. But yeah, I had my interview with him. Anybody can go listen back to that. But it's basically he's very upset that it's labeled a rug pull, because by definition a rug pull must have bad intentions.
Yeah.
And he did not have those bad intentions. It just kind of got out of hand, and he was like, this is not going to work, and I'm going to put this to the community now. And yeah, that obviously anchored a lot of people. I would not have handled it that way. And he regrets some of those things, and he got some heat. I think some of it was deserved, but you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in that case, he actually gave back the mint price. He gave back the funds to people who minted. I think the really big issue was people who bought on secondary markets had spent a lot of money on secondary markets, so they didn't get anything back. But I wouldn't class something like that as a rug. Generally, a rug to me is where developers have taken a lot of funds, and after no time at all, they run away with the funds or deliver something really below expectations and just leave the space and don't do anything then.
Yeah, it's I'm hoping that we will pivot a little bit as a space, because I think we see way too much of projects getting maybe over 1 million ADA without giving any value to the community. So So how can we change that? I'd love to see maybe a slight pivot in this model where you have to deliver on at least something. At minimum, you have to deliver on something that's agreed upon, and maybe it's held it's held through a smart contract through a third party. I don't know how it's done before you get access to all those minting funds. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it is something I thought about before as well, and even in the sense of projects too, and that the fundraise is done through some sort of a launch pad where people buy in through the launch pad into a smart contract, and there's development goals, or there is set things they have to deliver before certain tranches of the funds are released.
Yes,
so when they get to a certain point, you could have it that the NFT holders are the ones that vote on, yes, they have hit these points. So the vote comes in, if it's done and whatever, if it's all done through the smart contract, that the NFT holders come in and have their vote, the funds are released to the developer's wallet if they hit certain targets. And it's the community that holds the NFTs that decides if they've hit them targets. And if they don't, then I don't know what way you work the funds. Someone would have to work out all of it, but everything's agreed up front, and certain targets have to be hit for the funds to be released. If they're not, maybe the funds are distributed back to the NFT holders, or there is ways to do it, but the legal side of it then as well is who takes responsibility for running the launchpad or holding the funds, and it's a complex one, but hopefully we see some solutions. And just actually, I say to anyone watching, do give the video a like, or that if you haven't already, do appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new, and any questions, we're going to close it out in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So any more questions for Cardano Thor before we let him go, let us know down below.
Smash that like button, guys.
I just wanted to finish up on I had looked one up, calendars for people looking at things coming up, and projects that are minting, and I'd sort of find a CNFT calendar. Is there others like this? Is this maybe one of the main ones, or what's some of the main ones that people should go to?
Yeah, that's funny that you bring this one up, because that's one that I don't use personally. I do know of this one. I mean, JPEG Store, they have their own. Jungle, they have their own. There is CNFT Tools, they have theirs. But I actually put together my own, where I basically aggregate and then I like leave out some of the projects that are questionable, and put it in my newsletter and in my server, the Viking Squad server. And there are other servers that kind of do the same thing.
Okay, awesome. I didn't know JPEG Store had out of that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's somewhat recent, and I think it's only their
own minting.
I wish they would do a little bit of. I guess that's a topic in its own. Like, if they should have any quality control on these.
Bored Ape Cardano Club.
Yeah.
Why do we have to have copies of copies and copies? And
honestly,
I thought they were fine when. No, they were never fine, but projects got away with doing that in the early days when everyone was just looking for a quick flip. But if they're not an official, if it's not Yugo Labs doing the Bored Apes on Cardano, then there shouldn't be, my opinion now, there shouldn't be a Bored Ape on Cardano if it's not the official. And the same with,
I agree,
the Ape Society shouldn't be on Ethereum unless it is the guys behind Ape Society doing it. But that would be my opinion.
Yeah, and just from a business perspective, I think JPEG Store should care about it, because it could literally, they've been contacted by lawyers before, like, you have to take this down, it's infringing on intellectual property rights, and like they need to care about the image and just protect themselves legally from intellectual property infringement.
That's quite clear, that one. I'm no lawyer, but I can tell what that's doing.
Yeah. Question. You can plead the fifth if you want, but Space Buds or Ape Society?
Ooh. Is the question which I like more or which I would buy?
If you could only hold one. I don't know what was meant by the question, but I'll put it that way.
I only hold a space bud, so maybe that just answers the question.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for me, I don't hold either. I was doing a lot of research into Ape Society around 1800 ADA up to 2000, and I was waiting for it to drop more before getting in. That's how I remember earlier on when we were talking about going from 2000 to 10,000 in basically a week. I remember that point a bit painfully. That So I got.
Don't get me wrong.
I
wish I had Ape Society, but I was the same. I thought they were expensive at 2000 ADA, so decided not to buy them.
I would be Space Buds, simply because of the history of it. Would be my answer, and it's probably the easy answer to take in this scenario. And nobody will judge me for it. That's probably the other one. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Yeah, I would. If the Space Buds floor dropped another bit, I'd be starting to get tempted for the history of it as well to hold one in years to come. But I'll keep watching. So lack of liquidity there for people who are trying to get into projects like that. Although generally projects like that have a solid community, and they're the ones that don't drop through the floor like some of the other ones. Let's see what else we have here before shutting out. Minting for free and fishing for royalties. I presume that's in around if you mint really cheap and then you set higher royalties. So give people reasons to buy and sell. Again, if you're building a better project, more people want to come in. So I suppose if you have higher royalties on sales, then that's another revenue generation for projects.
We went through a phase of that, by the way. We went through a period where every project was doing that. Mars Birds, Rats on Chain, Dogs on Chain. Like there were so many projects.
That's smart. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, it worked for a couple of projects, and then everybody's like, "Oh, we should do that," and we had so many projects. It was the new meta.
Cornucopias, metaverses. That could be a topic for another week where we dive into metaverses. If you're up for coming back on again sometime, but Cornucopias is one that I hold decent few land and custom domes and stuff like that, and some of the vehicles. It's one, when I talked about games earlier, that's one potentially could deliver a really good game out there from what we've seen so far and the quality that they're going after. Could be good.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, those guys are using Unreal Engine, so you sort of expect it to be of a good standard.
Yeah, and they're building all their assets themselves as well. They're not using off-the-shelf assets, which it's tough work to build in the beginning, but hopefully long-term, that's something that helps them stand out as well. Need Hydra Mithril before gaming makes sense. Yeah, gaming on the layer 1. Again, this is a topic for probably another video. I don't know how many games we're going to see running on the layer 1 or how many games make sense to run on the layer 1. Again, it depends on the type of game and how many save points you need. If it's just basically reading your wallet to see what NFTs you hold and the rest of the game is somewhere else, then that's fine. But when you're getting into more gameplay on chain, then it gets a lot slower and a lot harder. ADA Legend, Ape Society, as it's everything you want from Web3. I guess it depends why you are in the space. Yeah, and ADA Legend, I think you are here from the very start, so I appreciate you sticking around. Let's see the final any closing thoughts, guys, before I'm just going through the comments, and any closing thoughts from yourselves?
For me, no, this has been great. This has given me a great insight into NFTs. I'm still looking for my artsy ones. I'm going to buy more of those, and hopefully someone's going to start giving me a printing service, and that I can pay in ADA, obviously, and just get them shipped here and fill up my walls. That's what I'm looking for. But I'll buy a few more on Artano over the next couple of weeks, and maybe look at one of these bigger collections. But thanks you taught me a lot, Thor, actually, by the way, tonight, because I've been outside the loop, and I have probably a good example of people who are not in NFTs and sort of look at it and go, oh, there's a lot going on there. I'm a bit scared. But it actually, it's pretty busy.
Yeah, it's very busy. I mean, I'm trying to keep up, trying to do content creation full time, and that's even hard. But I have, if you need art recommendations, I have plenty of those. I could talk about that for a couple of more hours, just the art scene. You know, I love that part of the space, and I'm actually a little bit sad about how small it still is compared to Ethereum and other blockchains. But and yeah, just in general, thanks for having me on here. I love any excuse to talk about NFTs and Cardano. So I feel like we barely scratched the surface. There's so many things to talk about, and my mind was going in a million different directions. But yeah, it was at the very least great to meet you guys in person. And yeah, just thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time to come on and go through it. I learned lots of bits there as well. And maybe it's something we can do every set number of weeks or something, have an NFT focus show where you come on, talk about the latest projects, and maybe we'll have went deeper into it at that point as well to be able to talk a bit more about some of the individual projects that are there. And actually your own Discord, I've seen a few people mention that they're part of the Discord. Do you have to hold an NFT to get into the Discord, or is there public channels? Or
yeah, no. So yeah, the NFT Vikings join. It's discord.gg/Viking Squad to join the Discord. Anybody can join.
You send me the link. I'll put it in the description of this video as well. So anyone watching back, it'll be there for them too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we just talk about Cardano NFTs. It's pretty simple, but I do have my inner circle. We call it the CT793, where the Cardano Thor 793. 793. That's the beginning of the Viking Age. You know, we had some fun with the concept. So that's nice. Kind of my inner circle. You can get those tokens on JPEG Store or maybe some other marketplaces. Who knows? Yeah. So you know, I write a newsletter, and so CT793 members, for example, they would get like a longer, like the premium version of the newsletter. And yeah, I'm trying to create as much useful content on Cardano NFTs as I possibly can.
And every Friday at 3 Eastern, was it? 3
Eastern. That's right. Yep. I'm Cardano Thor everywhere, basically. So. All
right. Look, thanks very much. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, watching. Some people I see there from the start who do appreciate it. If we start doing these more regular, we could set more strict timestamps and stuff like that. But let us know below, anyone that watched back. And if you do want to see more regular NFT content, as well as what myself and Paddy are here every Wednesday night, generally it's the latest Cardano updates, Cardano news, sometimes bring people on to talk about some of the popular topics. So if you're new, subscribe. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.